Sanbanani Dumalang, and welcome to your #1 youth current affairs show, Expressions, right here on SABC 1 and SABC Lihaya. This is still your favorite show, meant for you as a young person to express your views. Well, this week we focus on Bogus Colleges as many young people prepare to register to further their studies. Well, I'm not alone, I'm with Liema.
And of course, I'm your host, Liema Vomisa. It's exactly 5 p.m. and we're coming to you live and direct from our Auckland Park studios in Johannesburg. Now, Bogus Colleges, just like Kolosa mentioned, are the focus of this week. So parents and aspiring students are being warned to be wary of bogus schools and colleges. Now, each year, young people fall prey to institutions posing as above board and even reputable private schools and colleges when in fact they are not properly registered with the Department of Higher Education and Training. Now, in recent years, we have seen a spike in the numbers of such colleges, which really skyrockets. Now, our producers Utsahofatso and also Kanyisile Lavisa took to the streets to find out what are young people's views about this particular matter.
Every single year, thousands and thousands of prospective students in South Africa register with higher education institutions. But there is a growing underbelly: bogus colleges.
This week, we are in the streets of Johannesburg, where seemingly it's business as usual for institutions that are not recognized by the Department of Higher Education.
We asked a few students if they know how to distinguish a bogus institution from a legitimate one. Here is what they had to say.
Yes, I do check. I go directly to the institution and then you verify questions they answer. Because with online stuff, I'm not really sure if they give the best services. So yeah, that's how I check.
But I used to check before. When I got here to Josie, I used to check if the institution is accredited or what.
I don't check.
You don't check? You don't know how to check?
I don't really care.
The problem is some of the building, they are nowhere that they are located, but they are not going there to confront those people. And even if you report the matter, like they're not doing anything about it.
Well, there you have it, Mugilo Expressions. Those are interesting comments and even views coming from the people on the street. Again, shout out to our producers, Utseho, and also Kanye on that one. Now, is enough being done really to curb this issue? And perhaps how bad is the situation of bogus colleges in South Africa? I mean, across all 9 provinces in here. So to, of course, help me unpack this right now, I have the honor and pleasure of being joined by Dr. Makafula, who is a Chief Operating Officer of SACA, and also Shahida Isaac, who's an official from the Department of Higher Education and Training. They're joining me in studio. Lady and gent, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome to the show.
It's great to be on your show.
Thank you very much. I think let me begin with you, Shahida, on this one. So as it stands, how many colleges, according to your knowledge, are under investigation, which are presumably bogus colleges?
Okay, so Liema, before I respond to your question, I think it's important for the viewers and for learners to know the bigger context. So the bigger context starts with the Department of Higher Education and Training providing oversight over the post-school education and training system. So post-school education and training is PSET. It's universities, DHET colleges, we say colleges, and the community education and training centers, and then the skills development providers. So we have private higher education institutions, private colleges, private SDPs, and the private adult basic education and training centers. Now, all of the colleges are registered and accredited as per the qualifications they offer. Okay. So if you offer higher education programs and diplomas and degrees, you are required to register with the department, and the same would apply to Umalusi accredited programs. Okay, so we have 2 registers on the website of the department, private hire and private colleges.
Okay.
Then alongside that, we have the private SDPs accredited with the theatres, and there are 26 of them, and the QCTO.
All right.
Right. And then we have the adult basic education and training centres, and then we have private providers that offer short courses and programs which we do not accredit and register. And then we have the private schools, the private independent schools, and that falls under DBE, basic education. So I'm going to focus on the PSET institutions.
Yeah.
So having said what I have said, it all sounds very complicated.
Yeah.
So I want to simplify it for students. You need to verify if a college, private college, and the program and site are approved. As a first step, you need to check the 2 registers on the website of the DHET.
Okay, so that's
Right.
the DHET and also
Yes.
Umalusi.
Yes, great. So that's the CHE accredited higher ed programs and the Umalusi college programs. Then you need to, for CETA accredited programs, you would need to verify with each one of the CETAs, there's 26. Now, we are looking at streamlining all of this, but unfortunately, you would need to verify with each accredited CETA. And then with QCTO accredited programs, the N4 to N6, you would need to verify with the QCTO, and there are other training programs accredited with the QCTO.
I'm going to have to jump in here
Okay, great.
because I'm cut for time. But then, as the department, then would you say that you are aware of bogus colleges that exist in South Africa?
Okay, so yes, we are very aware, and in the past number of years, we have gone to great lengths to curb the bogus, we call them bogus colleges.
Yeah.
It's a lot of effort. I think the problem was very bad.
And if I may ask, sorry to jump in, how does the process, or what does the process of verifying and going to extensive lengths, what does it entail?
Okay, so as a first step, we will investigate. We will issue a letter of warning in line with the Paja Act, and then we will refer it to SABC or any other law enforcement agent that we deem necessary. And so it will end up in court if they don't shut it down immediately.
So the first step is you ask them to shut down if they're not registered,
Yes.
but failing which, then you take further steps.
Yes.
All right. Dr. Makafula, let me get to you then. So how is SACA now, the South African Qualifications Authority, how does it enhance the quality of education in South Africa, especially when you see such instances?
One of the things that we're involved in is not only that with the department, is to ensure that we engage with the community. We do road shows, and something that across provinces where we engage with the communities to inform them in terms of what should look for in terms of bogus colleges, and one of the things that you see, it's how they tend to sell themselves. Sometimes they attach themselves to these international institutions. Sometimes they promise you to offer you 2 degrees for the price of 1, and these are the things that are not, I think people should be mindful
Wary
of.
Yeah.
And one of the things I think what's been raised by Shahid as well is the issue of, people need to understand, the processes in terms of how a qualification reaches a stage where it's recognized. So there are processes, I think she shared with you in terms of, for you to exist as a private, you have to be registered with the department. And there's a process called the accreditation processes. You need to be accredited to offer that particular program. And once that is accredited, then that's where you come in at SAQA. Because all the offerings in the country, they are registered on the National Qualification Framework. All qualifications, if you are registered, automatically we need to be picked up in terms, because we have the whole database for everybody's undergoing training in this country. If you are not on that database or not on the department database, so it means you are bogus.
All right. And then with, just still on the context rather of a layman person who doesn't understand that entire process, they then lodge a complaint, even to SACA. So how do you deal with such instances then?
I think to me, one of the things, if people come to us, first of all, we always, say to them, we can check for them whether it's registered, because we do work close with the department. So that information is there. We can be able to advise on that. And I was on radio the other day. So one student who was really cheated. She went to a college that claimed to offer in security program, and yet it was not accredited. So we shared the information with her in terms of, what are the things that that particular person can do. So we are, as part of this awareness campaign, engaging, and it's something that we cannot do. Department cannot do this on their own. They have to work with all the, people who are in regulatory, those who are, I think Zaita mentioned the issue of QCTO, which is your Quality Council for Trade and Occupation. We have Council on Higher Education. We have Umalusi. So we work jointly, to ensure that, people are not. But again, this is not a South African problem. This is global. It's something that people think is only in South Africa.
Yeah.
We have all this online, people being cheated. Okay. And as you say, we can do more. And I think, to me, we've been trying to push and move around. And I think one of the things the department does slows down and communicate with us is, this college slows down as well.
Okay. So you alluded to, campaigns that you do, which assist young people and also just, feeding them with the information that they need pertaining to the processes. But then would you say those campaigns rather are bearing fruit?
Look, I think I'd say we can do more. Because I think you raised something. Not everybody, you can say, check our website, check this, but not everybody has access to that. And I was listening to some of the students, their comments, I just walk in and register. So I think, to me, we need to, as I said, we need to jointly really try to understand, where they, to me, most of the problem, the biggest issue is some of those colleges who are offering, some of the end courses. That, look, you come in today, you'll be able to get a job tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think, to me, it's very rife around that. To a certain extent, for higher education, private education institutions, is there, but it's not at the high level as those, trade courses. I think, to me, we need to be able to identify where the majority of this planes is placed, and to me, I see it around those. I gave you the example of the security, the ambulances, becoming nurse, and those are the things that are targeting it. All
right. Well, there you have it, Mbogelu Expressions. That is precisely the conversation that we're having right here on the show in Namhlanje. But when we come back from the ad break, I do want to pose this question to Shahida, particularly about, or rather as them, as the Department of Higher Education and Training, in terms of their campaigns and what they are doing. But for now, do stay with us. We have to quickly go to an ad break. This is Expressions.
Welcome back. You are still watching Expressions, and today we are putting a spotlight on Bogus Colleges across South Africa. We are joined by Basetsana Laga, a student who actually finished school. But before that, we're going to get into the comments and see when Mbukeli Apekai Dogbana, what did you have to say about today's conversation? Let's check out your comments. We have one coming from Anonymous. Anonymous says, I also registered at a college. It is when I realized I was scammed and the qualifications I was given are not South African registered. It was all fake, as I had to collect them via a local delivery system. I was so heartbroken. Even now, I'm still healing. My advice is students should check and investigate. Uxolo to Anonymous, but hopefully you learned something from that situation. Next one coming from Alfred Willie. Alfred is saying, I wonder why the government is not doing anything about these bogus colleges here in South Africa. People are unaware they are bogus. All right, let's check one coming from Rama. Rama says, dear matriculants, a gap year is an option than enrolling at a bogus or dodgy college in Gauteng. Do not look down on EFT colleges at the villages or University of Venda. These institutions have produced leaders of many industries in South Africa and abroad. Nda. Ramakua. Last comment. Let's see if we have the last comment. All right. That's Expressions comments, Bayateta, Abandabacha, Indobana, you know what? Young people should not sleep on EFT colleges. And I want to bring you in, Basetsana. Share with us your journey. Did you have to verify before going to your university or college?
Yes. So how it started is I was on, those long queues that we all have to go through after matric. You want to register. You're also under the pressure that I have to go to school. So I had registered actually initially during my matric year, and then I didn't check my emails, which is what we also miss. A lot of young people do miss that. We should check your emails, should you have maybe registered online. And then they had replied, but I was not aware of that. I was on a long queue like any other people would be. looking for school. First day I went there, I had to go home, right? When I was close to the thing. They said, come back. And I'm like, okay, fine. Went back the following day and I was still on the long queue. And I'm like, okay, fine. I don't think this is gonna work.
Yeah.
And then I just quickly texted a friend. I'm like, where have you registered? And it's like, I'm so busy, but just check out these few schools. And she mentioned a few. Then I'm like, okay, I told my dad, can we go check out the schools? Now it's pressure moments. We quickly drove to that school. It's a private institution. So there were no queues. And one thing about private institutions is that not a lot of people know about them.
Yeah.
If you're talking about TUT, UNISA, we all know them. So mostly private institution, I feel like that is where you should do further investigation.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people know them. So I got there. They gave us all the prospectus and everything, but I've heard of it because it came to our school to advertise. Right. So that circulation of when they aspiring people, hey, register. So I'm like, okay, no problem. Then I went there, they did the registration process and everything was fine. And I was like, I was happy. However, another thing that is also quite important because they have different branches. So my qualification was not available at the other campus, but available at the other. So what you can do, there's SACA, the South African Qualification Authority.
That's
you can
where they
just
can verify.
Yes.
And
that's where you can verify that.
And Basatan, you speak of private institutions, and a lot of young people are unaware. You know, they will look at, you know, your UNISA, your University of Johannesburg. And I mean, we were actually so shocked when we had one of the Voxes on the streets. You know, when they were asked, they were like, no, I don't care. And you wonder, I mean, where does this come from, you know, when there are awareness programs? But I want to know, is enough being done? Because on the desk, you had Numzana showing that, yes, I mean, there are campaigns, but are they enough? And why would we have young people saying that they don't care?
You know, they probably don't care. Like I said, the pressure at that particular time, you're not thinking of a lot, Colosa. You just want to see yourself registered in a school. Your friends are going to school. You don't want to be at home. But it's very, very important. I think the government should continue. Yes, they did mention that it's not just their job. I think it's also a responsibility.
Yes.
You should investigate. If you hear about this university, just investigate.
So it's your responsibility as a young person to investigate.
Definitely.
Basetsana, thank you so much for joining us. You will do uxanduva lakho, and that is research and investigate, because really these scams are on the rise. Let's take a quick commercial break. Do not move a muscle. We'll be right back. You are still watching Expressions.
Of course, welcome back to Expressions. Thanks very much for staying with us. Now, with the academic year, of course, being in full swing, so all systems go across every higher education, platform or place rather. But the question is, with the rise of bogus colleges, where does one tend to? And to, of course, help me unpack that still as we wrap it up, my guests are from Masaka and also from the Department of Higher Education and Training. So, Shahida, let me pose this one to you then. One wonders, what does an actual fully accredited college looks like? Because in a city like Johannesburg, with many dilapidated buildings, you would find that, interestingly, there's a bogus college somewhere there.
Okay, look, what would a college look like? I would ask students to compare it to a college that has a very good infrastructure. So you need to look at the infrastructure.
Okay.
Does it have a good infrastructure? Can you see evidence of the certificate of registration or the letter of accreditation from the QCTO or the SETA?
Can you ask that college?
You have to. You can, and they must provide it. If they don't, you come to us. And then you need to look at the level of professionalism. Okay? So if that verification, if that identification is not there, then there's a huge problem. Now, I want to give, maybe I could come back later on. So in terms of a credible college, you are looking at the infrastructure, you are looking at the level of professionalism, you are looking at the contract that you would sign with them, and their policies and procedures.
All right.
Okay.
And then Dr. Makafula, from SACA's perspective then, how does one know or really verify that this is a valid qualification?
In terms of, I think I did share with you earlier on, I mean, SACA confirmed that all qualifications offered are registered within the South African Qualification Authority and National Qualification Framework. So any offerings, whether from, to everything, we have what you call National Learners Record Database. So all achievements, so you can even call us, to say, is this particular qualification, on the NQF? And you can be able to share that information, freely. And I think, it's been touched now, my colleague, to say to you, it's important that, I think, to me, the professionalism, in terms of the application form, what is the... Okay. Before I came in on air, I just checked one college. They are accredited to offer 3 courses, but they claim to be accredited by about 19 seaters.
Oh.
That is not practical.
Okay, but Doctor, sorry to cut you there. But then one wonders, though, that should all the responsibility fall on the student in terms of trying to verify? Why do we even have to verify? How did we even get to this?
Look, I think to me, you don't just get in, and I always use this, buy bread that is rotten. You check the expiry date. It goes to that. I think it's your responsibility sometimes to... And you understand, the reason why the pressure, everybody wants to see themselves at tertiary. So people want, and the demand, we know that there's not enough places, especially in public institutions. So, people find themselves, I just want to do something.
Yeah.
But I think you need to be very cautious. You need to really ask questions. And that's why we're having shows like this one, to say, there are bodies out there, we are available. We share with you the numbers as well, in terms of who to contact and the advice that we are giving. I think, you have youngsters, surely, go on TV now trying to, an expression.
Yeah.
And I think to me is one of the take-homes is that the more we do some of these campaigns, even on national, I've been on radios since the beginning of the year, and regional, national, and that helps as well as part of the
Spreading
campaign.
the word.
Not to walk in is not enough. We can do more than that. I think together, when I say it's everybody's responsibility.
Collective responsibility.
Yes, I think the media,
as well plays a part.
I think it's something that you can help us in ensuring that
Absolutely.
we share this, which is a problem.
And I like the fact that you also alluded to the fact that, like what Basitsana said, that she was just caught up in the action of, I want to just get to school because the year is starting. But unfortunately, we have to wrap it up. Let me throw this on to you then, Shahida, in terms of your last remarks to students and maybe advice as well.
Okay, so I'm going to go through this very slowly because it's extremely important. Once you verify the legalities, you know that the college, the program, the site are properly accredited and registered as per the certificate at the institution and the registers. Every single student must speak to at least 10 or more other students currently enrolled at that college to verify or to get a sense of their experience at the college.
With the score. All right.
Right. That's extremely critical at this point in history.
Okay.
Okay,
right.
So if we had more time, I could go into the detail.
Unfortunately, we don't have time. But I'm certainly sure that we can, follow up on the website of the department for students who want to find out more. But, well, there you have it. Thanks very much for joining us. And we shall probably elaborate on this conversation on a different day. Well, that is, of course, Shahida and also Makafula joining us. But unfortunately, we have to love and leave you as much as the conversation was interesting.
Oh, yes. But, we are grateful as expressions to amplify your voice as a young person. Well, we leave you with Ifani featuring El Nino with a song titled Lidlozi.
Lilo. Okay. Nino. Lilo. Nino. Kilo, Nino. Ficho. Yizo, msito. Lilo. Ito lito ifro into uzizo yipokikos iyo mzito makotilo lito itlozi from my vorikos ubom is like into my story pod itlozi holy ghost quick corridors iflow we so on the ground itlozi mos it's the corny beef was strong enough it shows more it shits the door it toes put your bad so good like mosquitoes opinion yes those I talkicho gata unatoni poso komiso do odilum omboti a coffee shop it closing on the goldie each job lilo okay Nino lakulela kaphumela ndabulela elamidlozi wavuleka landilwela elamidlozi xalahleka lankhokhela elamidlozi awunokompera elami dlozi kusikhombela linekorobela elami dlozi lanthokozela kogobela elami dlozi ngena mina elami dlozi omakoti benza umqombothi ngelami dlozi ngena liba ngena ngelami dlozi abenmonela liyanprotecta elami dlozi yanqonqosela now ndiyangena nelami dlozi lilo lidlozi lilo